Welcome. I bid you welcome, John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from my music corner of the world. And today is the day that I have teased in my mind for the longest time. And I think it's high time I start talking about a band that I had came to love and very much appreciate back in 1998. They are an Australian heavy metal band who do just a little bit of everything. They've done death metal, they've done thrash metal, they've done grindcore, metal, probably metalcore, maybe power metal, straight up metal, garage metal. But most importantly, they are known as one of the forefronts of Jesus metal, and I'm going to be talking about Mortification. So, but I'm not going to talk about what's in this box set. I am going to go through the early days first. So, the band got its start as this band here, Lightforce. Now, this is their first album, Battle Zone. Came out in when did this originally come out? This originally came out, I believe, like in about 85, 86. I need to probably check up on that. Yeah, 87, 87. So they had gone through a few incarnations before they got to this. Um, and they had released two different demos. You have the yellow one and the blue one. From what I have gathered on Discogs and other places, I think they only made about 100. So they are really super rare. However, if you get this CD version um, of this album, it includes both of those demos on this. Now, here's a few other fun things. So this version that you see here in my hand, this vinyl version came out in 2019, issued on vinyl for the very first time. So when this came out, the only way it was pretty much available was on cassette. So it was not something that, and I have tried to look for cassettes of the original Battlezone. This is the that's the original cover, by the way, I should add. So trying to find original copies of this on cassette. I think I saw one on eBay recently, and I think they wanted like $200 for it. So it's not cheap. Um, but anyway, Light Force. Let's just talk a little bit about Light Force. So Steve Rowe on bass and vocals. Um, he starts up this band with guitar player Chris Miller, drummer Rohan McDowell rather, and on vocals, Phaedra Hirschfield. Now, the yellow one has 5 tracks: Run from Darkness, The Crunch, Come With Us, Fishers of Men, and Pictures. Now, Fishers of Men will appear later on in the Mortification catalog. This blue one with the band cover there or the band picture that you can kind of see a little bit there. This has 6 songs. You're So Kind, Fishers of Men again, Pictures again, Come With Us again, Ballad on the Beach, and I Felt Your Love. So this is more hard rock, more in a hard rock vein. Very early Maiden flavor, maybe a little bit. The female vocal does make it a little different sounding, so it's not something that Mortification would turn into. Um, Steve Rowe really wanted to pursue the heavy metal aspect of it. Phaedra didn't feel like it was really quite her thing. So she goes and she leaves. Chris and Rowan also leave. So they start. He basically starts from scratch, and gets this new lineup here. So right here, there you have a very smiling Steve Rowe. Um, let's see. I need to confirm who is who here. Uh, let's see. Okay, so here's a better shot. So you have Steve Johnson over here on vocals. You've got Cameron Hall on guitars, and right here on drums, you have Errol Willenberg, and that's the lineup that would stay for the two albums. Um, so what was Life Force? Light Force, you could definitely hear a lot of the early new album flavor. Whether it was like, I think Steve was kind of getting into maybe a little. He had heard a little bit about Sodom, the band Sodom, the German thrash band. He was familiar, of course, with Iron Maiden, Motorhead, Angel Witch, a lot of that early new album band stuff. He was also a big Deep Purple fan, and so vocally, I mean, this album is a um, very rough produced album. Um, it was hard enough just to gather the money to be able to record something properly back in those days for them. It just wasn't exactly a niche that people were really scrambling for in Australia. And even Christian metal in the States really wasn't getting off to that big of a start, aside from Striper. Um, so, but this has 8 tracks. So I'm just going to go through the tracks real quick, and so the first song is called "Choose to Win." So this a very new album in flavored song. Definitely shows some early signs of what Steve would go on to do with Mortification. Um, the one thing about the entire album, and I'm not going to go into all of the different lyrical aspects here, but everything here is very much a straight up Jesus metal album. Choose to win. It's basically what kind of decisions are you making in your life. You go through these hard times. You either do you want to go and depend on Jesus to get you through those hard times and things of that nature? So this is a very, very poignant song. Some strong guitar work here by Cameron Hall, which shows up at toward the end of the song. Evil Desires. Um, a little bit more of a noisier, kind of a punk flavored song. Again, just the sinful desires of man. What kind of stuff do you turn to? You have a good little frantic solo by Cameron here as well. Um, let's see. The next song is can't read my notes here. Reigning with the King. More of a melodic opening, translating into more of a more of a strict 80s new album flavor song again. I know I'm going to keep saying that a lot, so I'll try to refrain from doing so. Eyes of Destruction. This is very much a Revelations based type of song. A little bit of a cheesy opening with the kind of a spoken word thing, but slow gallop transitions to a very thrashy song. So really cool track there. I Won't Conform. Here again, I think this is kind of the ways of the world and how the world would like us all to be, but we really don't want to conform to those kind of ways of the world kind of thing. And very in your face rocker, melodic guitar solo. Um, the Day Is Near, another little fun riff rocker song, again talking about the end times. Um, Battle Zone, a very early Maiden new album flavored track. Again, very very much a um, Revelations based song. Fast Lane, definitely not your Eagles Life in the Fast Lane song, but the fast lane, it tends to kind of where it leads you to destruction, kind of a feel there. So overall, I mean, this is just a very rawly produced album. Uh, I think Steve in his book, um, in his kind of a biography, basically said they tried to make, they tried to save up the money they could wherever they could, and just try to record as much as they could in a short period of time. I think they tried. I think it was like $1,000 or so back in those days, when it's like 30, 35 years ago. So it was, for some young kids just trying to get going with a band, and you don't have the market to play to, makes it very challenging. And then um, you have a type of band that they are, which is more of a Jesus metal band, and you're not, unfortunately, you're not going to be packing out a lot of pubs, every night, unless you're like, unless you try to be like AC/DC or Rose Tattoo or Hobbs Angel of Death or whatever it is, and they tried to be okay. What's going to bring the people in to be buying beer from us all night? We don't want to hear all the preaching stuff. Just make the crowd happy or whatever. So and that's kind of a direct quote from Steve, from his biography. So anyway, so what I'm going to be doing is each week um I'm going to go through each Mortification studio and live album, because I have those. There's going to be some odd compilations thrown in there as well. So so if you're a Mortification fan and you've gone as far as Lightforce, let me know what you think about this. This is a tough album to come by. Again, was not really, I don't even think it was released on CD originally, when this came out. I think it only came out on just cassette. So I believe, and I can be corrected if I'm wrong, but I believe this was the first time this was available on CD as well. So now their next album, Mystical Thieves, that did attract the attention of the Pure Metal label. Lightforce would get to do some odd shows here and there. They did get to do a few shows with Striper eventually, and Rosanna's Raiders and different bands like that. So they would eventually get some notice. And so, but we'll save that for next week when we talk about that one. So there you go. Wednesday, of course, Up to the Limit, episode 10, with Reed Little with us this week on the Accept series. Tonight I'll be on Grants Rock Warehouse talking favorite tracks of 1985. So that'll be good stuff. But yeah, please go check out, if you have never if you haven't ever heard this album. Really kind of a fun little throwback to a time that made me remember how much I wished I could have been in a band and could have done music as well. And there you go. So like, share, subscribe, all those fun lingos. You know what to do. Next week, we talk Light Force, Mystical Thieves, and then we'll get into the Mortification catalog. So, Johnny Metal, John Claus of the Metal Dad, saying rock forever, y'all. We'll see you soon. Take care.